This is Cashflow Ninja, episode 154 with Joe McCall.
Welcome to the Cashflow Ninja, the podcast empowering and inspiring people to discover how to generate their own income and manage, grow, and protect their own wealth in the new economy. Now, here is your host, MC Laubscher.
Hi there, MC Laubscher here, and welcome to another episode of the Cashflow Ninja. I have a great show for you today, and in today's show, we're going to be looking at how to create cash flow from your laptop while traveling the world, and it all starts with a vision. My guest today is Joe McCall. Joe is an avid family guy who enjoys hanging out with his family at the zoo, or golfing with his boys, or swimming with his girls in the pool. Nothing is more important to Joe than family and God. Joe has flipped over hundreds of real estate deals and helped his students do the same. He loves doing deals and coaching his students to do the same. He has been fortunate to receive more student testimonials than he can count. He invests remotely in multiple markets, and he loves creating automated marketing systems. While living in Prague, the Czech Republic, twice for several months, and traveling across the northwestern corner of the United States in his RV for 3 months, his teams have flipped multiple lease options and regular wholesale deals without him seeing the house or talking to the sellers or the buyers ever. Joe believes that the greatest part of his business is that he gets the privilege of working wherever and whenever he wants, from home, from Starbucks, the pool, a condo in Colorado, a coffee shop in Prague, a farmhouse in Ireland, wherever. He has a highly rated podcast, the Real Estate Investing Mastery Podcast, and also wrote a #1 Kindle book, Making Extra Money Flipping Houses While on Vacation. Please share your feedback and thoughts with me on today's interview. You can let me know your thoughts on Twitter by tweeting me at MC Laubscher or by email at info@cashflowninja.com. And please remember to join our mailing list by signing up at cashflowninja.com or texting Cashflow Ninja, one word, all capitalized, to 44222. That's 2 4s and 3 2s. You can support the show by becoming a patron on Patreon for $10 a month. And when you become a patron, you get access to our private Facebook page and a Cashflow Ninja t-shirt. You can become a patron by visiting cashflowninja.com/support. Have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Are you interested in real estate investing and don't know where to start or how to get the results you want? For valuable information to get you started, visit JoinOps Properties at joinopsproperties.com. If you're not earning at least 8% on your cash, you do not want to miss the private lending presentation for non-accredited investors done by Jimmy Freeland and Bob Scott. Discover how to create an income stream from real estate without the management headaches. You can access the presentation at cashflowninja.com/private lending. Spartan Invest have a proven plan and system helping investors creating passive income and wealth through turnkey real estate ownership in the exciting market of Birmingham, Alabama. Find out why Birmingham has got it going on, why it's a steal right now, why it's a millennial hangout, a hidden gem, and one of the most exciting investment opportunities you have never heard of. You can download your free report, 5 Big Reasons to Invest in the Magical City of Birmingham, Alabama, at cashflowninja.com/Spartan. I've spoken about the most powerful system on the planet on the show, the banking system, and my firm Valhalla Wealth Financial helps people reclaim the banking function within their own lives through leveraging the premium tools and strategies of the wealthy. If you're interested in reclaiming the banking function within your own life and the infinite banking concept, you can access a free webinar presentation at cashflowninja.com/be the bank. Joe, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, thank you.
Can you please share a little bit about your background and your journey with my listeners?
Yeah, so my background is my education is in engineering, civil engineering. And I went to school in Iowa, at Iowa State. I was raised in California, Southern California, but went to Iowa State and got my degree, got married, moved to Kansas City in 2000, and was really into the engineering thing, but I got tired of punching in a clock. Even though it was a big corporation, it was a quote-unquote dream job. I probably was in the top 5% in the university for salary. I was making good money for a college graduate. And if you remember, this is when the economy was kind of bad, right after the dot-com bust, and got a good job. But I got so tired and frustrated with just being a number. And I kind of had this dream, this vision of working for myself, being an independent, a digital nomad. I wanted to be able to work from anywhere in the world. And so I started just thinking about that stuff. A friend introduced me to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't know if anybody you have ever heard of that book before.
Probably not.
No. And man, it's amazing. So many podcasts I listen to, people talk about that book as being a life-changing, pivotal book. So, and in fact, come to find out that the whole book is not even, it's all made up. The guy didn't really have a rich dad or a poor dad. But the principles in the book are all really, really good. Anyway, that book just changed my life. And I had a friend who was getting into real estate investing at the time. And he was buying these courses, these really expensive courses, and learning a lot from them and actually starting to do things with them and making money with real estate. And I thought, that's really cool. I want to do that. I flew to Austin to hang out with this guy who was building some duplexes. And I spent a day with him. It was really kind of weird. This was in 2005, 2006. And he recommended a couple books to me about real estate investing. And I read those books, and just my whole world opened up to the possibility of using real estate as a way to get out of the rat race, as a way to kind of work for myself, buy assets that produce cash flow. And that's really what started me on this journey. And it was in 2009 that I finally quit my job. So from like 2000 all the way to 2009, I was dreaming and thinking and scheming about working for myself. And I started real estate investing in about 2006. And 3 years after that, I finally was able to quit my job.
That's amazing, because in 2009 and 2008, there was a lot of people in real estate that got slaughtered.
Oh, they were running for the hills. Yeah.
Exactly. The tide went out and you saw who was swimming naked, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so what strategies, you mentioned cash flow, investing for cash flow. What other things did you learn and implement and execute at that time that helped your strategy weather the storm, and you came out, so good on the other end that you were able to leave your job in 2009?
Well, in the book, Cash Flow Quadrant, in the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, he talked a lot about multiple streams of income, like thinking of streams of income instead of piles of income. And so I was dabbling with the stock market. There was a long period of time where I was like, I couldn't afford a Investor's Business Daily subscription. So once a week on the weekend, I would go to the library to get the weekend edition or the Monday edition or something like that of the Investor's Business Daily newspaper. And I would devour that thing, and I would play with stocks a little bit. So I got real frustrated with the stock market because for a couple of reasons. Number one, it takes a real long time to build wealth through the stock market. Number two, the stock market can turn on a dime. Like one day it's up, the next day it's down. It's an emotional roller coaster. And number three, unlike real estate, there's nothing you can do, absolutely nothing you can do to increase a stock value or stock price, right? No matter, you could, maybe buy a billion shares and go to the shareholder meetings and vote, right? But there's nothing you can do to help the company improve their performance their earnings and do better. But with real estate, there's 100 things you can do to increase the value of that asset. So I remember there was a book that a guy wrote from, I think he was from New Zealand, and it was about, I just thought of that. It's so funny. But I remember he wrote a book, and he started talking about the differences between different investment classes, real estate, stock market, and things like that. Multi-level marketing. Rich Dad talks a lot about that. And I'm not an MLM fan. But so I tried multi-level marketing, tried the stock market, and real estate attracted me the most from the tax benefits, from just the demand, supply and demand of housing is always going to be high. People are always going to want a house. They're always going to want a roof over their heads. No matter what direction the economy is going, people need a place to live, right? And the population of the world and the United States is growing. They're predicting the United States is going to have double the population in the next 50 to 100 years. I don't remember the exact number, right? So where are those people going to live? And there's things you can do to real estate to increase the value. You can fix the house up. You can clean it up. You can offer creative terms and sell it on creative terms to increase the value of that asset. And so I fell in love with real estate. That's been my focus, my bread and butter. And it's just a passion. I love it, and I like building systems around it as well, and trying to outsource literally 100% of my investing activities. Just outsource them all out and get somebody else to do the work for me.
And that's one thing that I find pretty impressive when I looked at what you were doing, Joe. Like, you're speaking about multiple streams of income and different streams from your wholesaling business to your lease option business, your buy and hold income properties, land deals, your coaching business. There's many different businesses that you're in here and getting multiple streams of income. And the one thing that I notice is your systems is really, really good. What are some of the other things that you can share with some of my listeners, how you manage all of these different businesses and how you, obviously focus is a key thing, but you focused in every single segment until it was successful, and then kind of got a management team or someone that manages for you with those streams.
Yeah, that's a great question. You could do a couple podcasts on all of that. But I've always said the 3 keys to success are marketing, automation, and delegation. So no matter what business you're in, it's marketing. You're in the marketing business. We're not in the real estate business. We're not in the insurance business. We're not in the direct response marketing business. We are in the marketing business. We are in the business of getting leads and servicing those leads, right? So when I realized, okay, everything I do revolves around marketing. Everything is marketing, and marketing is everything, as they say. So I really started focusing on getting marketing done for me in spite of me. And that's the number one step in my real estate business, especially, is getting marketing done for me in spite of me. So those leads are coming in all the time. Then the automation, I try to create systems around everything. And there's a phrase I heard of along the lines of simple system scale. And you look at all things you're trying to do and break them down into simple silos. Like if you're talking about marketing in real estate, well, there's different types of marketing. Let's look at direct mail. All right, there's different types of direct mail. Let's look at yellow letters. Well, there's yellow letters to who? Let's look at yellow letters to rentals on Zillow. That's as simple as you can get, right? That's a silo. And so what I do is I create systems then around those little silos and say, all right, I'm going to create a little system. So every day we're sending 20 to 30 yellow letters to rentals on Zillow. And I build that little thing up, I build a system around it, and then I scale it. It's simple system scale. I scale that, I give it to a VA. Like, for example, with the yellow letters, we give that to a stay-at-home mom. That stay-at-home mom will do those letters every day for us. It's a wife of my acquisitions manager. And so then I move to the next thing. My next little silo may be postcards to absentee owners. And so I create these multiple silos, real simple silos, build a little system around them, and then scale it. Now, instead of having 4 different marketing activities that are all running at 50 to 75% complete, and I feel like I'm running around like a hamster on a wheel, not really accomplishing anything. Now I'm accomplishing a lot more because every little silo is operating at 100% because I've built systems around that. So it's marketing, automation, and whatever you can't automate and create systems around, you delegate it out. And so thinking of my businesses in those terms, I write down everything that can be done, and I ask myself a simple question: how can I do none of this? Literally. Like thinking big picture, out of the box. I don't want to do any of this stuff. How can I do it? I mean, how can I wholesale deals, flip real estate while we're living in an RV for 3 months traveling around the northwestern corner of the U.S.? How can I wholesale, flip lease options, and do land deals while we're living in Prague for 3 months and traveling around Europe? That's what we've done. We've done that. We've been to Europe twice with my family of 4 kids and my wife. We've gone to Europe twice for 3 months, and we've traveled in an RV for 3 months. And it's just those things. It's figuring out what are my goals, breaking them down into little silos, and creating systems around each of those things, and then delegating those systems out to people. And that way I can focus really on where my passion is coaching, right? So if there is anything that I do that I focus most of my time on that I really, really enjoy, it's coaching, one-on-one and group coaching with people. And so that kind of thing not necessarily can't outsource completely, but yeah, it's been, I hope that answers the question. I felt like
that's great.
A long answer to a short question.
No, that's great. And I think, it's a mindset shift too. And you mentioned the cash flow quadrant with the E and the S on the one side and the B and the I, and what these systems that you automate have allowed you to do is go from the S over to the right-hand side to the B. And now you're working on your business and not in your business. And you can get in an RV and drive around and travel in Europe with your family for 3 months, and your business isn't missing a beat because of the systems that you have in place.
Well, I'm still working while we're traveling too, but
right.
We're working on my terms. Right. Exactly. I don't want to be stuck in a corporate office. I don't want to be stuck in my home office. I want to be able to work from anywhere in the world that we want. And with technology today, MC, there is no excuse why you can't run a multi-million-dollar business from a laptop and a cell phone. No excuse. From anywhere in the world. All you need is a little laptop and a phone. I've made millions of dollars while traveling around Prague, Europe, Yellowstone, Grand Teton National Park, Rocky Mountain National Park. It's fun, man. It is a lot of fun. And it's not like when I'm traveling, I'm on vacation the whole time, not doing anything. I am working. I'll still work 20 to 40 hours a week because I love it. Some weeks I work more, but it's something I'm super passionate about, and I'm not dreading the clock. I'm not looking at the clock every day to see when I can clock out and go home. It's a wild ride. It's a lot of fun. And it starts with MC, to summarize it all up, it starts with asking bigger questions. As cliche as it is, it's thinking outside the box. It's thinking, all right, well, how can I'm good at this and I'm passionate about this stuff, right? So how can I make $1 million a year doing that? All right. Now, this is what I'm going to have to do that. All right. This is what kind of marketing I'm going to have to do that. Now, how can what is like the whole one thing? Like, what's the one thing that I can do right now today that by accomplishing that, it makes everything else obsolete? Or how does that go? Whoever's read The One Thing knows what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. And the other thing that what I love and what I'm learning here too is, and I just want to point this out for my listeners, is you started with your vision. You mentioned right at the beginning of our talk, you said, I wanted to work from anywhere in the world and build my business. And that's where you started. That's the vision for your life, that you wanted to be able to pick up a tablet and a cell phone and be able to conduct your business. And then then obviously what you're passionate about, you're in the real estate space, and a lot of your businesses is geared in that asset class. They're all different in many different niches, but from there on, and then you just mentioned, I want to make $1 million living anywhere in the world in that space. And then now you can plan for that, right? Now you can break it down into sizable chunks, as you just mentioned, about what's the one thing that I need to do to get to the next goal. And then, and so forth. And even to the point where, every single day, what's the one thing that I need to do today to get to my goal by the end of the week? And what do I need to accomplish this week to get to my monthly goal? And what's the one thing I need to focus on in the quarter or 6 months, or however you want to chunk it to get to that goal at the end of the year?
That's a great way to put it. I like that. And, for me, there's a coaching program called Life on Air, and it's really good. Instead of millionaire, it's Life on Air.
Right.
And the guy who created this, he would be great for your show. His name is Steve Cook and another guy named Sean McCloskey. They wrote a book called Life on Air. You can buy it on Amazon. But the main premise of these guys, what they do is, Steve Cook, who started it, was a real estate investor, very successful. He gets tons of people that ask him, hey, teach me how to be a millionaire doing real estate. And he said, well, you can make $1 million, but if your expenses are $1 million and one, you are flat broke. You're worse than broke. You're poor. Like, you are living stressed out. You have no life, right? And so the whole premise then is, all right, so create a vision for your life first. Like, what's most important to you? What do you value most? And put that on a calendar. Put a dollar amount to that. Like, if money wasn't an object, how much would it cost you to live your vision, a vision for your life? Put it on a calendar, and then design a business that fits around that. Most of us have it backwards. We have our business first, and life fits in around that. It's our job. It's our business. It's whatever. How many people out there, probably hundreds of thousands, own a franchise, and they bought this franchise in hopes of freedom, but it turns out they're just a slave to their own job. They're working 60 hours a week, and they have to, life fits in around that. Well, let's reverse it. Let's design a vision for our life first, and then design a business that fits around that. So if it's important for you to be at home with your kids, take them to eat, make them breakfast, have date night with your wife once a week, and take one of your kids out, or travel around the world. Well, that means we're going to have to homeschool, right? So let's homeschool our kids. Or maybe it's just, you want to work from the beach in Barcelona, Spain, or you want to work from the Starbucks down the street. Design a vision for your life first, and then say, okay, what kind of business do I need to do to support that? You may not need to make $1 million. Maybe to live your vision, you only need to make $100,000 a year, right? Maybe if you had zero debt, you can live really high on the hog for like $50,000 a year, right? And if you've got a simple business that makes $3,000 to $5,000 a month, I mean, most of us, MC, could do that in our sleep, right? So you don't have to be making the millions of dollars a year. You don't have to be working like a dog to have this huge $3 million portfolio when you retire in 65 years. So then you can live life and enjoy life, right? No, why not live the retirement lifestyle today? Why not do what you want to do today and just start asking the bigger questions? Start thinking outside the box. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. Because as you pointed out, you become a slave to what you created then, and essentially you've created a prison for yourself if you start with the business and not with the vision and then designing the business around your life.
You got it. Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about too is marketing. Now, obviously the basic stays the same. And the key obviously being is getting your offer or your product or your service in front of your target avatar and your specific demographic target. What are you working on lately? What has worked for you? What are some of the things that you've seen out there that you're studying that people are utilizing and having a lot of success with?
Well, on the real estate side, the marketing that we're doing most, having the best success with, is just plain old-fashioned direct mail, doing a lot of direct mail, postcards, letters, to specific people that own a house that they might want to sell. People that bought the house at least 10, 15 years ago. We can even target our list down to people that don't have any mortgages, that bought the house over 15 years ago that are over the age of 55 that have bad credit and that own a house that was built before 1995. So you could, in specific zip codes, you can target these lists, and you're not going to get a huge response rate, but the few leads that you are going to get are going to be very, very good leads. So on the real estate side of things, we do a lot of direct mail. We do little things too, like Post-it notes. We buy these Post-it notes for super cheap. They're handwritten Post-it notes, and we pay these guys to go deliver them door to door in neighborhoods that we're targeting. Hey, do you want to sell your house? We want to buy it. On the coaching side of my business, I have my podcast, and I'm a big believer of content marketing. I just deliver tons of really good value and content out there. And so I've been doing my podcast since 2011, 6 years now, and I really enjoy it. It's fun. I get to interview and meet a lot of really cool people. I think you're going to be on my show next, MC. So I get to hang out with cool guys like you and talk about stuff that we're passionate about, real estate, business, marketing. And when you create that kind of good content and you distribute it out there on podcasts and in blogs, YouTube, iTunes, things like that, then you start attracting people to you that think like you, that like what you do, that appreciate what you talk about. And when you get to hang around those kinds of people, either on masterminds or in private online community forums or whatever, they say that your network determines your net worth. And so I really like when I can create really good content and then attract people that are also passionate about those same things. And we learn from each other. I learn more, I feel, many times from the clients that I help and coach than they are learning from me. So I don't know if that all makes sense, but that is kind of how I look at my marketing.
You're listening to Joe McCall on the Cashflow Ninja podcast. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Are you having a hard time finding great investment properties? Unfortunately, the best deals are rarely found locally. Successful investing begins with the right properties in the right markets. Norada Real Estate provides everything you need to invest in the best deals across the United States. Our simple, proven system will help you create real wealth and passive monthly cash flow. Learn how to find the best deals by downloading your free copy of The Ultimate Guide to Passive Real Estate Investing at noradarealestate.com. That's NORADA realestate.com.
You're listening to Joe McCall on the Cashflow Ninja podcast, and now back to our interview. I've found the same thing. I learned so much from listener feedback, from my clients, from people that I connect with, such as yourself. And this is why I love doing this show too, is having folks on like you, and learning from you. So I couldn't agree with you more. As far as the platforms that you're using, now this is something too where, there's certain platforms that people focus on, and it's also business or niche specific of which platforms you do focus on to grow your audience, and also do your marketing on. Which are some of the platforms that you're using and that you're focusing on to get your message in front of the right people?
Well, on the coaching side of my business, where I'll create products and do coaching and do podcasts and stuff, I like to take the approach of creating the content once and then distributing it out to multiple channels. So not everybody's going to be on YouTube. Not everybody's listening to podcasts. But there's simple ways you can create really good, valuable content and share it create it once and create it across multiple channels. So you could create a video, for example, of you teaching some concept about marketing on a mind map, which I do a lot of this. And I'll create this content, record it on a video of me walking through this mind map, teaching some really cool marketing tricks. And then I put everything in that mind map, right? I can put in a link to the tools and resources that I use, the websites that I use to do this marketing thing. I can include actual attachments and spreadsheets and calculators. I can put all of that stuff inside this mind map. And then I can create a video of me on my computer from wherever I am. I've created so much content from national parks out west. It's not even funny. So you can create this content right from your laptop and then send that video out to YouTube, Facebook Live, Periscope, and then turn it into a podcast. That can be an audio podcast or video podcast. Get it transcribed, turn it into a blog post to put on your blog, and then share that stuff out. So now you have videos on YouTube, you have videos on Facebook Live, you have videos and audio podcasts out on iTunes, and then from there it goes out to all the different podcasting channels out there. And I'm sharing the really cool stuff from this mind map, right? Well, as a lead, I use that as a lead magnet. So to get people to join my list, I say, hey, listen, if you would like this mind map that I'm walking through right now, you can get it. Go to this website or text this code to this number, and I will send you for free this mind map. And that mind map is all online, so I can share view-only permissions with people to get the mind map. And it's a really valuable resource. It's really helpful to people. And so that's one of my favorite ways to kind of distribute my message out, but also use it as like a lead magnet or a hook to, I'm getting I don't like to fish, but it's a good analogy. You get as many pieces of bait and lure out in the water as you can in many different lines. And every once in a while you find a really cool client to work with. Right now I'm working with this friend over on the West Coast who's got a large lending business and does deals. And I'm helping him just kind of see things where he's at from a higher viewpoint. I love helping that. I'm working with another guy up in the upper Midwest who has a huge real estate franchise with a large brokerage. And I get to help them do some really cool things, which I enjoy because I'm helping them find more freedom, have a better, happy lifestyle, live their vision, right? Well, I find those guys by casting a wide net through my content marketing, right? Doing my podcast, doing the videos, doing the social media stuff, writing the blog posts. But again, just creating that content once and then finding other people then to edit it, produce it, distribute it, market it, and all that good stuff.
Are there any ninja tools and software that you use to automate and send this out simultaneously to all these different platforms?
Well, there's a couple of them. I use Wirecast a lot. Wirecast is a software that lets you broadcast videos to Facebook Live, YouTube, Periscope, all at the same time. There's other tools that I like. One of them is Blue Jeans. BlueJeans.com you can record your videos and then rebroadcast them live to those different channels. There's also there's a bunch of different tools right now. One of the new ones that a lot of people are excited about, Ecamm. Remember we were talking about recording calls on Skype?
Yeah.
Ecamm has this software now, ECAMM. It's called Ecamm Live for Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Ecamm Live for Facebook. It's $30. But the cool thing about this is the only software that does this, where from the app, you can rebroadcast live from your webcam or play videos from your computer. You can see the comments and the feedback on your screen, which you can't do from the other stuff. So when you're doing some content, you can see people liking it and sharing it and asking questions, and you can interact with them from your laptop while it's going. And you can do overlays. You can put text, icons, show videos. It's an amazing tool, and a lot of people are getting into it. If you go to just ecamm.com, ECAMM.com, that's a really good tool. But, to record my podcast, I do some podcasts from my car while I'm driving. I just have my iPhone, and I will record just from any of 100 million different apps, record my audio into my phone while I'm driving, just talking about some things I'm thinking about, some tips and tricks on to have to do with marketing and real estate investing. And then I just take those audio files, upload them to my Google Drive folder. And I have this team that will edit all my content, audio and video content, and then edit it, take out the background noise, level the audios, add the bumpers on the exit and the intro bumpers, and then create a summary, add the image art, and then distribute it out to my blog and to all of my different podcasting channels. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. And the key is to keep it simple and not complicate it.
And there's a lot of gold in what you just shared there. And kudos on the multitasking too, driving, recording a podcast, man of many talents. Joe, staying on real estate in the space that you're in, very interested to hear what you are seeing out there. Where do you think we are in the real estate market cycle? And what opportunities you see out there in the different niches that you operate in?
That's a great question. I would say one of the first things that people need to do is read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? Have you ever heard of that book?
Absolutely. I have it on my bookshelf.
It's a great book. I read it many, many years ago. I need to read it again. But I'm always thinking about where is the cheese and where is it moved to? Where is it moving towards? Because I got started when everybody was running to the hills and nobody thought that you could make money in real estate investing anymore. People were losing their shirts. But I was starting to there's this technique in real estate investing called lease options. And so I was doing a lot of lease options and I was flipping the lease options. And so instead of with regular wholesaling in real estate, you get a property under contract and you flip that contract, you sell that contract to another investor. I was selling or assigning my contracts to the tenant buyers. I was selling my contracts to the tenant buyers and I was doing really, really well with that. And that's what allowed me to quit my job. But at the time, those were the easiest deals to do. And they're still really easy, but the market changes a lot. So like in 2012, a lot of money and cash started coming back into the market, 2012, 2013. And a lot of investors starting to look at buying real estate again for cash flow purposes. And so I started focusing more at that time on finding cash buyers who are looking for rental properties. And so we wholesaled a ton of properties to cash buyers during those few years. Now, you could argue that the market has changed again. Things are really picking up. So you got to be looking at where are the opportunities today. So always be thinking about like maybe what worked a couple years ago doesn't work as well today. Doesn't mean you should throw it away because that still does work and it may come back again. So the market goes through cycles. You always have to be a student of the market. And that's why it's important to listen to podcasts. It's important to get a coach, get a mentor, and hang out with like-minded investors. Find out what's working. Find out from the people that are doing deals, that are making money, what's working for them. Always be thinking about bigger picture. How can I still stay competitive in the real estate market that I'm in? Maybe if you're in California and you're trying to do some deals there, maybe that's not the best place to do it. So where else in the country can you be doing deals? Maybe you should look at Oklahoma City, for example, right? Because you can buy great cash flowing real estate there. So just think outside the box and start looking at where are the other opportunities that I could start implementing now that might work better in these kinds of market conditions.
No, that's very sound advice because it's always changing and the opportunities change and the market conditions change. And I like the example that you used of Who Moved My Cheese, of finding out where that cheese is because that cheese is still there. Mm-hmm. It just moved in a different area. Now, Joe, one habit I've observed from wealthy and successful people is that they're always studying new subjects and learning new skill sets. What are you currently studying and what skill sets are you currently learning?
Well, lately I've really been into land investing. And that's just, I mean, it's kind of hard to describe because I at the same time, I preach against shiny objects, right? Because like I always say, shiny objects can make you go blind. Focus will make you rich. So if you can focus on one thing, right? then you'll always do really, really well with that if you just focus on it. At the same time, I can only focus so much on lease options or wholesaling because that's what I've done for years. I really am fascinated with land investing. Buying land, these vacant lots in the middle of nowhere, Colorado, for example, or nowhere, Oregon, for 15 cents on the dollar, 1.5, like 15 cents on the dollar, and then flipping them for 50, 60 cents on the dollar. That is cool because you can even sell those lots on owner financing on terms, and you can start flipping those things for cash flow and get really good cash flow with those. And that was something I thought again to myself, I want to start doing land, so how can I do none of it? And I've partnered with some friends that I told them, listen, I'll invest the money into the marketing and I'll help create the systems. I'll give you my virtual assistants to run everything. Why don't you? So I bought 3 courses on land investing. I gave them to these guys, this couple, and I told them, I said, go through this. Let's meet once a week and let's start doing this. And so just doing it part-time, like less than part-time over the last year, we've probably have made $75,000, $80,000 in profits. Doing it very, very part-time. It's just flipping land, vacant lots, right? And again, focus will make you rich. So I just focus on one thing at a time. Or I find other people to partner with to do that for me, right? So with land, I don't even touch that, but once a week we have a meeting for an hour and we talk about the land business, right? And the coaching business, that's where I spend most of my time right now because I really love that. I love doing the podcast and helping people in the coaching and consulting business. The real estate deals business, the regular house business that I have, I partner with local wholesalers, local investors, my boots on the ground. I partner with them. So that's where I'm at.
Joe, a core message in our show is to leave our families, communities, and the world better than we found it by passing down a mindset, values, and principles to future generations, not just money. So if you cannot pass on any money to future generations, and we're only allowed to pass on 3 principles to them to build wealth and achieve happiness and success, what would they be?
That's a great question. When you were asking that, the first quote that came to my mind is one of my favorite quotes. It's from a missionary that died as a martyr in South America, and his name is Jim Elliot. And his quote was, he is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. And I think a lot about that, right? Because I am a Christian, and so I try to have more of an eternal perspective on things. Have you ever seen somebody driving a hearse? How does that phrase go? Driving a U-Haul trailer behind a hearse, right? I told that joke one time to a bunch of people in England when I was doing a workshop in Spain, and they all tilted their heads and kind of like, "What are you talking about?" They didn't understand. They didn't know what a hearse was or a U-Haul. They call them something different. Right. But you can't take anything with you, right?
Nope.
So why work so hard for these things in this life that, are cool and nice? It's good to have that stuff, but I'm hoping that my kids will have a bigger eternal perspective on what they're actually doing with their life, like building their rewards for heaven. I believe in heaven, right? So like making a difference in people's life, that's really all that matters. I mean, when somebody's at their deathbed, they're never saying, I wish I would have spent more time at work. Or they're not saying, I wish I would have spent more time studying the stock market. They're always like, no, I wish I would have spent more time with my family. I wish I would have been nicer to my kids. I wish I would have been nicer to my wife. I wish I would have done more to be there for my family, or done more to help the world be a better place. So I'm hoping that they get from me as seeing as an example of somebody who's very generous with their time, with their money, that's kind and patient and is attempted to make a difference in people's lives by just being a nice person, being somebody who is loving. So that's what I like. I love that phrase. He's no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose.
Very, very powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. Joe, how can my listeners learn more about you and your company, your podcast, and stay informed of all of the projects that you're involved with?
Yeah, so my podcast is realestateinvestingmastery.com, realestateinvestingmastery.com. And then I have joemccall.com, joemccall.com. And probably I do have a course on how to wholesale lease options, how to flip lease options, if anybody's interested in that. And you can go to wholesalingleaseoptions.com if you want more information about that.
Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your journey and your knowledge and providing so much value for my listeners.
Yeah, MC, no problem.
This is MC Laubscher, the host of the Cashflow Ninja podcast. As you may know, I'm also the president and chief wealth strategist of Valhalla Wealth Financial. We help individuals, families, small businesses, entrepreneurs, and professionals build their wealth outside of Wall Street and help investors maximize the use of every dollar in their personal economy and boost their investment gains. We do this by combining the capital and investments with the financial vehicle of the wealthy according to the infinite banking concept. If you're interested to learn more about privatized banking and the infinite banking concept, you can access an exclusive webinar at cashflowninja.com/be the bank. Thank you for joining my guest, Joe McCall, on the Cashflow Ninja today. If you like what you hear and appreciate what we're trying to build here at the Cashflow Ninja, please subscribe, rate, and review our show on iTunes and share our show with family, friends, and your network. I'm always trying to learn and improve in every area of my life, so if there's any way that I can provide more value to you and serve you better, please reach out to me at info@cashflowninja.com. If you're not a subscriber to the Cashflow Ninja Gashku newsletter, you can sign up for our newsletter at cashflowninja.com or text Cashflow Ninja to 44222. That's 2 4s and 3 2s. You can also support the show by becoming a patron on Patreon for $10 a month. When you become a patron for 12 months, you get access to our private Facebook page and a Cashflow Ninja t-shirt. Jimmy Freeland and Bob Scott have been in your shoes and have used real estate investing to become financially free. They've designed a system to take any beginner to an experienced deal-making investor in the least amount of time. They offer opportunities from basic education, coaching, bridge loan investing to turnkey investments in the cash-flowing market of St. Louis, Missouri. For more information, please visit joinupsproperties.com or call Jimmy and Bob at 314-799-2247. If you're not earning at least 8% on your cash, you do not want to miss the private lending presentation for non-accredited investors done by Jimmy Freeland and Bob Scott. Discover how to create an income stream from real estate without the management headaches. You can access the presentation at cashflowninja.com/private lending. Creating passive income for you and your family is easier than you think. All you need are 3 things: the right plan, the right product, and the right turnkey provider. As an investor, you want a safe, profitable, and convenient way to invest your capital without being at the mercy of stock market fluctuation. Investing in real estate in a turnkey way that provides monthly passive income with very low risk is exactly what Spartan Invest provides for their clients. Their mission is to make investing in real estate easy for the busy professional. Spartan Invest help investors create passive income and wealth through turnkey ownership in Birmingham, Alabama. You can download your free report, 5 Big Reasons to Invest in the Magical City of Birmingham, Alabama at cashflowninja.com/Spartan. The wealthiest families on the planet know how to capture their wealth and then leveraging their wealth through their own banking system. If you're interested in privatized banking and the infinite banking concept and learning the premier strategies of the wealthiest individuals and families on the planet, you can access your free webinar at cashflowninja.com/be-the-bank. That's our show for today, everyone. Until next time, live a life of passion and purpose on your terms.
You have been listening to the Cash Flow Ninja with your host, MC Laubscher, the podcast empowering and inspiring people to discover how to generate their own income and manage, grow, and protect their own wealth in the new economy. Today's show notes and resources are available on our website, cashflowninja.com. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. The information being presented and considered does not consider your particular financial objectives or situation, and it does not make personalized recommendations. This material is not intended to replace the advice of a qualified tax and legal advisor or other qualified professionals, and you should not use the information in place of a customized consultation with a licensed professional regarding your specific personal financial objective, situation, and needs. We believe the information provided is reliable, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, timeliness, or completeness.